Hello. This is the drawing textbook by Bruce McIntyre. And yeah, it's awesome. Really helps.
So what is it?
It's a drawing textbook. So, like, I don't know if you can see this, but it talks about, like, the history of drawing.
Well, not really, but I'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so go ahead.
And then this is, like, lesson 1. I don't know if you can see that on this side. And it just has little exercises. And on the left side, it always explains how it helps you in drawing. And then by the end, it gets like way harder. Like you have to shade more and yeah. And then also, it actually does it a couple times in here. It teaches the 7 laws of drawing. Let's see. There. Want to say anything?
Yeah.
So, the 7 laws, do you want me to say?
I can talk about it at the beginning in a second. You can talk about why you picked it up and show your drawings and tell what you've been doing.
This is my drawing notebook, and I do the lessons. And I don't know how it started. It was just, I think it was actually the Egyptian lectures. That's how it started. Micah was watching them on the computer, and we did a lecture about them. Oh, not a lecture, a blog post on them. And
on Teaching Company?
On Teaching Company. And I was just watching it with Micah, and I was in the room, and then it said something about drawing or something, and it showed a picture of something that a pharaoh had drawn. And so then I'm like, ooh, that sounds like a good idea. Maybe I should start drawing. And then I just started drawing a few days ago, and then I did like 5 lessons, and it was just like really fun. And so, yeah.
So this is my notebook that I did years ago of pages of drawings that I practiced on. Some of the older kids have drawn and drawn and practiced, and you were making a comment about how Micah and Jonah, I was doing a video for something that Jonah was helping me with, and there were these characters. I was talking about War and Peace, and I was talking about how there's so many characters in the beginning of the book, and they're hard to keep straight. We were making this funny little video about it, and so Jonah just pulled up pictures of people from that time frame, Russian individuals, and he just freehanded these drawings of different faces. There were probably 20 of them. And they've just done...
it looked really good. He just pulled up a picture, and then he just drew it on a little like piece of paper, and then he stuck it to the stick.
Yeah, they were really cute, and he put them up on these little sticks to go with this little video that we were making. But I just remember being amazed at his ability to freehand draw. Micah loves to draw too.
He drew this, like, Micah was really bored one time, and so he's all into music now, but he used to be all into drawing, and he just, like, sketched this really good picture of Link.
That's true. He didn't used to just sit down and just draw all the time, didn't he?
And it's like, one time he was in school, and he got in trouble for drawing a picture on his homework, and she threw it away, and he had to redo it.
He was sad because the drawing was so good.
It was like a drawing of a...
So I love this book because Bruce McIntyre, I think, is right on. And he makes some points in the first few pages. It's a really quick, little, easy read. I think it's valuable to just have in your home to remember the truth about art, which is the truth about virtually anything, and that is that there's underlying principles and that drawing is a skill. That there are some people that are unbelievably gifted and they change the world with their art.
Like Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah. But everybody can learn how to draw, and they can do some basic painting because they can learn the rules and laws of color. So if you understand the laws of drawing, the principles, and you understand the principles of color, you can make a painting that looks like a real thing. There'll be varying levels of skill based on adeptness, but also largely based on practice. I mean, there's plenty of books out now that talk all about how those that really become the best of the best are often those that practice the most, not even those that are the most naturally gifted. So it's about practice, but he makes this point that anybody can learn, and he points out anybody can learn to draw. And he says we have this idea that artists are special and that there are some people that are artists and the rest of us can't even draw. We have these little, you know, the circle with the lines down, that's a person, and the little sticks is a house. That's all that we can do because we think we can't learn art. Just like anybody can learn to play the piano. Anybody can learn to play a string instrument. Anybody can learn to read. Anybody can learn to run. That we have these paradigms about other skills that we say anybody can gain those skills, but with drawing we don't believe anybody can do it. And Bruce McIntyre makes the case, yes we can. He was a school teacher forever, ran these really great drawing programs, and then he talks about art in the public schools and how to reintroduce art and how important it is. I've seen studies too, international studies that were done comparing United States outcomes with other countries, and countries that were having better science and math outcomes later on were doing more language and art study in the lower grades. So I'm a believer of anybody can learn a language and anybody can learn art. They can learn the basics of science, they can learn to read and write, they can learn an instrument. And with drawing and art, I mean, Seth wanted to be on this video. He's only 6 because he started doing the drawing book too. He was copying Avery. Now he's younger, he's not as good at it yet. But if we'll do more of those languages and arts when they're young, it'll help their skill sets when they're older. And then he goes into, so here are the 7 principles, the 7 laws. He calls them the 7 laws of perspective. And if you master these, then you can draw things that look real, like real things in the real world. And he's put together this booklet. He would go around and do all these seminars, and he has drawings in the beginning from 3rd graders, 4th graders, and 5th graders.
They're like these really, really good too.
Complex building structures with all these perspectives, and they look real. So you just do it. You just go through and do. I don't think anybody in the family's actually finished the whole book. We would sit down in the evenings lots of times, and Avery and I have been talking and decided that this summer we're going to hit art hard. We'll probably be giving you more art books then when we go into color and we've got some other art books we're going to work through. What's that? Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so just saying, we have 2 of these, and this is the new one because this one was so crappy. It's like drama because Camille, she's doing a little drawing, so she draws all over the book. And it's like super beat up and it's dirty and gross because...
Well, it's not gross.
Well,
it's just
gross,
drawn on. But it's used. It just shows that we've used it. I ordered a new one.
We've taken it everywhere and used it.
Yeah, it's like somebody showed me this book. I don't know. I happen upon so many great books accidentally. It's so awesome. Anyway,
so awesome.
So he just starts you lesson 1, basic skill set, and we haven't had anybody in the family. You can do them, right?
Yeah.
And when she said it has an explanation, it explains to you how to draw it. Start with this shape, then put these lines down.
And it explains to you how it helps you in drawing. And like this whole book is to help you like master those 7 laws and make it look real. So there's like different kinds of shading, and it's darker and lighter, and it's like foreshortening, so you have to make it smaller. Yeah.
And it builds on itself so that skills that you learn early on, you get a little bit better at those, and so you can learn a new skill and become better and better.
It starts out with like the simple laws, like right here it does foreshortening, and it does, I think that's all it is, right?
It says, the birthday cake, one of the most useful things in drawing in a foreshortened is the foreshortened circle. And so then he proceeds to tell you, similar to the foreshortened circle is the foreshortened square. And so he's saying learning to draw things foreshortened is the first tool for being able to draw something believable in the world.
Yeah, like when you see those pictures of like, there's like a schoolhouse or something, and it's from the corner, and as you see it, it gets smaller and smaller as the picture goes from left to right. And like right here, like right there.
Yeah, so the horizon.
Yeah. And
so there's 37 lessons, and there's 6 activities in each lesson. You can do a lesson in half an hour, can't you? So you could get through this. You could get through this book pretty fast. And the thing that I love the most about this book, I think is the funnest thing, is that many times, I don't know if this happened to you, but has it ever happened to you that you come upon one and you're like, oh, that's really hard. I don't think I can draw that one. I don't think I can make it look like that. And then you draw it and you're like, huh, it looks quite a bit like that drawing.
I used to think that was like super hard, and I'm like, I can never do that, Joe. You're like a genius.
Yep.
And then I did it, and I'm like, that's so, like, It's so easy.
You know, there's one of the things that's really fun to do is watch people when they're drawing. I think most of us love to do that because it's a blank piece of paper and they're creating something out of nothing, just out of their heads. And so it's a fun skill to gain. And he makes an argument, and another book that we'll talk about, Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain, and she makes an argument about how we should be able to communicate through drawing. We should be better at drawing and communicate through drawing. So it's a skill I want my kids to gain, along with an instrument and a language and all those things. And this is a great book to start with. And he says, art doesn't make any sense. You can't do anything else until you can draw. You just have to, much as you want to, sidestep it, and lots of schools and programs will do crafts and activities, that's not really art. Art begins with good drawing skills, and that begins with mastering the 7 laws. And this is a very practical, easy way to do that. So again, we highly recommend Drawing Textbook by Bruce McIntyre.